so let's get into it. Looking at the Bitcoin chart here, we're looking at the daily chart. If you watched my video on YouTube, which hopefully somebody can post a link in the comments, we nailed it with Bitcoin. We were buying that 34,000 was the start to a buys with as low as 32.7. If you bought in that range with me, you ended up with an average around 34,000. Today pushing up into 40,000. So you're talking roughly about 8% gain, almost 10%. That's a nice little swing. If you're a long-term holder, you got some nice ads on those dips, which is fantastic, right? Here's what we were anticipating, right? When I made that video, and again, if someone could drop the YouTube link to that video, I'd very much appreciate it. So, you know, I'm not full of shit. If you can like this video, I'd love you forever. You'd become my favorite person, and I just love you and appreciate you. So when we were looking at Bitcoin the other day, we were looking at that 34,000 range as a touch and a taste to get off feet wet, okay? And so we were looking at this main area of resistance right here, as you can see on my screen, guys, that it was not breaking this resistance. We see test, test, test. So we got a test here, fail. Not even a real test. It didn't even touch resistance, fail. True test here, broke for a minute, fail, right? So we're continued bearish this whole time. So then what happens? This is where it gets very interesting today. Very, very interesting for any of you watching crypto and or Bitcoin. We got a lot of volume today on the buy side. After we found our bottom here, again, remember, we were watching. If you're in the Discord, link is in the bio if you want to join, no pressure. I'm still going to keep posting stuff here. But very interesting time here to be a buyer because in a sense, we bought the relative bottom as for now, right? Now it's going to stay there. We have no idea. And there's no reason to be certain in any capacity, right? Because we can have these false breakouts here where if this price action right here completely sells off and it comes back below resistance, this means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. It means we might be getting close, but it does not mean in any sense of certainty that we have regained bullish momentum and are seeing a reversal. We do not know. Anybody that says otherwise does not know how to read a chart. The trend is your friend. So as we pushed up here into the resistance, okay, this volume confirms that we are starting to see the signs of what could be a reversal. And so it's important to keep that in mind here, guys, because we don't want to trade like we are dumb. We want to trade like we love, care, and appreciate our money. And we want to make sure that we're keeping an eye on all of this stuff to make smart and educated decisions going forward for our money so that it can make money children, money babies, if you will. RSI ticking back up into the 50s on the daily. That's a very good sign because that means we are returning into a more even environment, right? If this holds and we see a stair step up, right? Because that's what we want to see. If we go back to the past, we look at some of the bigger pushes in Bitcoin's price history, starting right here in this bounce off 30,000, we see a stable and consistent upward consolidation and buying. That's fantastic. We love that. We want to see the same thing here. Until we see that, we can't confirm that anything of what we're seeing matters. What I would equate it to is something like right here, right? So if we have another decent day push, this looks like about, 3 to 5% move. I think we're going to see another test. First of all, 38.5 was the price we identified. We pushed above that. That's great. Fantastic. We love it. Next one we see is about 43,000. I call it 42.5 with volume, and I'm pretty confident that we're going to keep moving if we push past that point, right? So that means if we've broken this 38.5, okay, done, we did it. That was our core resistance right here, critical resistance, excuse me. The next stage to what we need to see is over about 43.3. Okay, so that's where we topped out right here. Again, we want to break these ranges down. This is a super simple way to understand basic trending, right? To understand basic trend lines, to understand basic price action. This is how I do it. It makes it very simple. So instead of going to the weekly chart, right? Because we want a little more breadth. We want a little more explanation. We want a little more breakdown. So we don't want to go right to the weekly chart, right? Because that puts the whole week into one bar. It's easier visually for me to look at it this way. I look and I break down about 7 days, right? And I look at this little chunk of consolidation right here from, say, the 11th to the 18th, right? We moved to the top side, 43.8, and to the low side down to 39.9, right? So we've got about a difference of 4,000, right? So what we need to see to know that this range is expanding in volatility and could potentially be a sign for reversal. We need to make sure that this has moved over about $4,000, right? So we've got a bottom here, 33.2. You can see the cursor right there. Top, 41.161. I mean, I don't math, but that looks like more than 4,000 to me. So that being said, this could be the beginning of its next leg up, but be careful, because you have to remember, guys, that we know this stuff, right? We've watched this stuff. We've seen so much institutional money and interest flow into crypto assets, right? And they're here for the long haul. They're not worried about today, tomorrow, next week. They don't care. What they're worried about is 10 years from now, will their money be worth 8x what it was? Can the price be artificially run up? Absolutely. I'm not saying that's what's happening, because I don't know. Truth is, nobody does, other than the institutions that may or may not be doing it. So what we need to keep an eye on here is the next leg up. In my opinion, if it's up and we see a test of this 52K range, if we break above that 52,000 mark, we're going. If we don't, not the end of the world. So again, we saw that this range was about 32,000 to roughly 41,000, right? Bigger than our previous consolidation ranges right here and right here, which tell us that there's something important is happening here. A movement could be coming. What we need to watch out for is this next price point coming, 52K and change, give or take, right? If we push above it with strength, meaning we see another fat green bar like this pushing above it, that's a lot of confidence on my end, and that's a trade I'm willing to take, to go long and to take a long position for a swing, right? I'm still a long-term holder and believer in Bitcoin. I still think it's going to outperform general markets. When we see that move, that's the critical point to watch, 52,000 right around here, okay? As we see that move, we need to watch what happens when it hits 52,000. Because if it stops, not the end of the world, okay? That's not the end of the world. Might come down a little bit, might dick around, push around. We don't know what it's going to do. Might test again, might come down again, and then consolidate in this range and inevitably push back up to test the highs again, right? So that'd be push up, resistance, support, resistance, support. Remember, that's the confirmation. So that's what you want to see, right? I'm sure you've seen it, like looking at those Wyckoff methods. This is too short of a time frame to typically apply it, but I think you can take a lot of the macro trends and apply them in micro in doses, right? To just get an understanding, not to necessarily make a decision like it's done, it's over. But I think if we see resistance, support, we can say with confidence that the top end of this past range has now become the low here, and it's in our new support. Fantastic. And if that happens, then we're going to test a new resistance, right? Because if we have a new support, we need to define the new resistance. Being in that price discovery phase is awesome. You want to be in that price discovery phase, right? These are the times in which a trailing stop benefits you greatly. These are the times in which a stop loss is essential. You have to have that stuff. If you don't, good luck. I would have them. Once we identify this support, we then can identify our new resistance. But no matter what, we know if it doesn't break above 52K, she's coming back down. So we can exit and take a nice little swing profit. If it keeps going, that's when we start to raise the stop, or, say this is your long-term position. Like for me, like this is not a swing. This is the long-term position here. This is the long-term gain. So I'll just hold it. Unless I see something even more worrisome, which would be a fail to break and create a new high, then I'm like, we're going to probably see 20,000 or something again. But I really don't know. It's just about watching as this stuff shakes out. That's why I've tried to stay on top of this one. That's why it's on TikTok, it's on YouTube. So if you're not following the channel, make sure you hit follow and hit the little notification bell so that you get the videos when they come out. Because this stuff's all time sensitive, people. This is not like you can see it 6 months later and it still matters. It's time sensitive. It's all relative. So make sure you do that so you get all the info. My rule is minimum of 10% of my assets are going to be in crypto over the next couple of years to give me that exposure to that growth and to the diversity that it offers. The world is moving online day by day. It's been happening since 1999. The adoption of crypto versus the adoption of the internet, roughly 50% adoption over a short period of time, right? So meaning the audience of 1 year over year increased 50%. That's insane because the numbers were already high. And you look at crypto adoptions, like 113%, I believe I saw. It just confirms what I've known in my gut, that people are interested, people are following this, people understand what's at stake here. They understand that crypto offers an opportunity to generate the third tier of wealth, right? Like there's a tier that is uncreated, right? And like, will the large entities and organizations capitalize on this and probably stomp down the momentum? At some point, yes. But if you get in early enough, if you make the right decisions, if you calculate your risk, if you treat this appropriately, I think a lot of people that are scraping by, barely making their income, having to make sacrifices, I think if those people that were just like me before I started doing this stuff make the right choices, I think this could change your life, genuinely. I think these assets offer the opportunity that's never, its availability is unprecedented because you just have to download an app. I mean, shit, even Voyager has like almost no commissions, right? So like, it doesn't have to cost you a bunch. You make $500 a week, put $50 in, 10% of your check. Might require not going out to eat once a week, but like, who gives a shit? I don't want a short-term benefit now that's going to cost me in the long run. I want to take those little short-term sacrifices now so that I can kick back on a yacht in 10 years, hopefully. That would be awesome. I'm not a big boats guy, not all the time. So I think that was a lie. I'm not even sure, but a yacht would be cool. I think you get a yacht just to be like, I own a yacht, but then you're a yacht guy and that makes you kind of a douche. So I take that back. So yeah, I just wanted to go over that, give you guys an idea of what I'm looking for, what my expectations are. Please make sure to like the channel, like the video, make sure you follow, hit the little notifications bell. I am going to be continually updating this as we discover new price areas for Bitcoin and other related cryptos. I hope that you got something out of it. And if you didn't, feel free to give me the finger in the comments and tell me you didn't and never watch it again. So yeah, love you. Bye.